Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, Chi the Reality Queen, and I'm back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac, season 6, season 9, episode 6. See, I am tired, but I just watched it, so I wanted to get into it with y'all. So this episode started where the last one ended, where Stacy is confronting Karen, and Karen is like, "See, what you don't know is that Mia had an opioid issue in which she had to go to rehab, and she started the joint chiropractic after going through an opioid addiction." And I'm like, okay. And everybody's sitting there shocked. But I'm shocked too, because did we ever discuss that? Has it ever come out before that Mia had a opioid addiction? Like, I feel like I missed something. I have watched the show. I saw when Mia came to the show. Did they ever discuss Mia having a drug problem? Because if I missed it, let me know. Because I know she said her mama had one, her dad had one, but I don't remember them saying Mia had one. Because if they said that, what? We need to get back to that immediately. Or is Karen just talking the way she always just be talking? Because Karen sometimes just begin to talking and it don't be about nothing. But you know, Wendy is refusing to indulge in any messiness or whatever because she's like, I'm trying to celebrate, stay positive, whatever. Um, then we see Ashley and she's talking. I don't know, is she in the confessional or she's talking to somebody? And she's like, I'm just really working on being a single mother and, getting used to it and this and that. And honestly, I think Ashley might be the only housewife that is in a worse position since getting on this show. I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't watch all the franchises, but I feel like Ashley might be the only housewife that is in a worse position since getting on the show. Like, yeah, housewives have gotten divorced, but they get alimony, they get child support, they get all this stuff. But I feel like Ashley is the only dummy, and I'm gonna call her a dummy because she a straight dummy who married a man, didn't prepare for an eventual divorce, even though she was married to such a shitty human being. And now she's in a predicament where she don't have nothing and he not giving her nothing. And I'm not saying that she shouldn't work for it because obviously she's on the show, but it's like, girl, is the show not paying you enough? Because why are you struggling so bad still? Yeah, you shouldn't be struggling the way she's struggling. She shouldn't be struggling. At least I don't think she should. Some of the ladies are by the pool and they're like, just talking. And Jazzy comes over to the pool and she gets in, but I don't think she realized that they were standing on like they were sitting over on the deep end because baby girl just slipped right into the water. And it's sad because it's like, I don't think she was ready. She played it off cool, but I don't think she was ready to fall into the water like that. I also don't think her hair was ready for her to fall into the water like that. Um, Then Ashley talks about how she finally has a date to go to mediation so she can finally file for divorce. I'm like, girl, we are about 3 years into your divorce, maybe 4. I can't even remember at this point. It's been so long. Call me when you've signed on the dotted line and it's finalized. You don't want to do that because you've been still trying to live off this man, and he's basically told you you can no longer do that. So now maybe that's why you're trying to rush to get everything done. But girl, you are a fool and nobody even cares about it anymore because it's been so long and you're not getting anything. Kay thinks Karen is old school about meeting kids because Karen says she doesn't think that, if you're divorced, you should meet the kids unless you're engaged. And I don't know, I'm a little in between because I don't think you should introduce your kids to somebody so early. But I also agree with Kay in that engaged is so long. Like, I feel like to propose to somebody and be planning to marry them to the point where these people are going to be in your kids' lives, potential stepmother, stepfather, adoptive parent, depending on the relationship. I just think that's so late to the point where it's like your kid doesn't even have the opportunity to know this person before you're like forcing them on them, you know? And I do think that the kid should have the opportunity to at least know the person and interact with them. But it definitely should be a while. It should at least be, a couple years in, unless you're moving really fast, then maybe move that timeline up. But either way, if you're planning to marry somebody, I think prior to the engagement, your kids should have met them and know them, because you're basically about to force them on them. Um, then Jazzy tells a story of her man having a kid, and she was like, when she met them, I, Jazzy's told a story about her man and a kid, and that when so her man, see, you see how I'm getting stumbled up? It's because the story wasn't clear. Her man has a kid currently that's 3 and a kid that is 1. Jazzy and her man have been together for 2 years, I think. Now, this is where things get interesting. Okay, the 3-year-old, you had nothing, you weren't around. The 1-year-old child that had just turned 1 is from the same person that the man had the 3-year-old with. So this is not a new person. So when Jazzy came into the picture, she didn't know that her man was clearly still messing with the baby mama. Yes. I mean, the math is there. If the baby just turned 1 and y'all been together for 2 years, women are only pregnant 9, 10 months, you know? So the math would suggest that Jazzy may have been a side chick that was upgraded. Now, I'm not saying that. I like Jazzy. She's cute. She seems fun. But the math suggests that Jazzy was upgraded. That's what the math suggests. Not me, but the math that's there. The arithmetic suggests that she was a side chick that was upgraded at some point. And it's funny because, you know, Kay is kind of like, that couldn't be me. She dated a football player once, and the football player basically had 2 women pregnant at the same time. And Kay was just kind of like, oh no, I'm not going to deal with that. And here comes Mia. Wait, who was it? Because I had the same thing happen to me. I think we were all dating the same man. Kay is like, no, we were not. I don't know why that was so funny. Kay's like, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. It's not the same person. She's like, did he play for the Ravens? She was like, girl, he played for no team. Because, girl, don't try to get in on my story. Don't try to get in on my story. Like, why are you trying? First of all, when did it happen to you? When? Because you've been married to G for the past 13 years, and prior to G, you were with Ink. So when did it happen to you? Like, I feel like Mia lies so much that it's actually sick. And because like her new little target is Kay, she wanted to be able to hop onto Kay's story and be like, oh girl, we was dating the same man and da 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 da. I'm so grateful that Kay caught on immediately and did not even let her try it. She was like, no, we're not doing that today. And I'm like, thank you, because I feel like sometimes people be giving people these passes to be fools and to be annoying. And I feel like Kay caught it so quick and nipped it in the bud. She was like, no, I'm not telling you. It's not the same person. And no, like, like you could tell Ashley was, and everybody else was trying to get a little messy. And Kate was like, I'm not giving it to you guys. I'm not, it's not the same person. And I love that for her because I feel like Mia thrives off when she can lie and, because it didn't matter who Kay said the person was. Mia was going to say it was that person. Like you could already tell. And the reason why she said the person must have played for the Ravens was because obviously that's the closest football team to them. But I'm just glad she didn't even say what team. She didn't react. She didn't give Mia a moment to try and steal it or, whatever. And then, I don't know, the girls decide that they're going to have a little dance party outside with no music or whatever. And Stacy is the stiffest dancer. Like Giselle dances poorly, but Giselle's not stiff. She's just a poor dancer. Her rhythm is not really there. But Stacy, girl, Stacy is stiff. Like Stacy reminds me of a robot, but not in a good way because we know the robot and it's like a dope dance. Stacy could have done that. She might have been a little like we might have talked about her, but it would have been cool. Like, oh wow, she can dance. But that's not what she was just stiff. Like someone whose body can only dance from the shoulders to about the stomach. Like, but not the waist. They can't wind the waist. Like their body moves like shoulders, arms, and head. And that's how Stacy dances. It's a very awkward thing. And if you see it, you know what I mean. Like there are people who when they dance, their shoulders and their arms and their hands take on most of the movement and their heads like oh god, it's so awkward to watch. Um yeah, Stacy, she shouldn't dance anymore publicly. I think she's just a stiff person. Like I think that this is the persona that she made for herself to be on TV, to be on QVC, to be on the news or whatever it was that she did. And she can't shake it now because it's like so deeply ingrained in her. I feel like if someone had met Stacy at like 18 or maybe 16, she would have been more relaxed, more fun, more, but I feel like now that she's been on television and she's been playing this role of herself for so long, I think it's her. Like, I don't think she knows how to just and just shake her body and have a good time. I don't think she knows how to do that. I personally. Um, Giselle returns back to the house. Jazzy is sitting out in like the living room doing her makeup. And obviously, I feel like that was a setup by production because why would she do her makeup randomly? Maybe she doesn't have a bathroom. I don't know. But, she's spilling the tea to Giselle on what's been going on, who's been beefing and whatnot. And Giselle's just like, wait, what? What has been going on? Like, I just left for less than 24 hours. What do you mean stuff has gotten so contentious? Which is true because it felt like Giselle was gone for a long time because they had an entire episode without her. But she was really just gone for a couple hours and some of that time was spent sleeping. Um, then they come and they're all trying to drink and drink before they go out and go to this like chiropractic place and they're giving everybody shots and Mia's pouring down shots and Mia's like, oh, this is how I keep two men, and she pours like the bottle into her mouth and she doesn't actually drink the liquor goes sliding back into the bottle, which was so freaking disgusting. As someone who doesn't like to share anything, I literally saw that and wanted to throw up. Like that part of the episode, I gagged literally because it was so uncomfortable to watch that liquor slide right back into the bottle after it had been in her throat. But hey, maybe that's how she keeps her men. That's what she said. That's how she keeps two men. And it's funny because that's how she slipped up right there because she's talking about it's just her and Ink and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And Gordon won't leave him alone. But now she's talking about that's how she kept two men. I mean, I guess she was keeping two men before. I don't know. Mia's story is never straightforward, so who knows? Um, then they get into the sprinter heading to the place and they're talking about Stacy's man. And she's like, oh, you guys can look him up. He's a well known actor. Define well known, Stacy, because words mean things. Define well known. I have never seen that man, TJ, in my life. He's not well known. I'm not saying I have to know everybody, but well known means that if you mentioned him in a room, someone would know. Somebody would be like, oh yeah, I've seen something that he's been in, or I know, baby girl, I know you trying to like ride for your man. It's new, it's cute. He's not a well known. He is a background actor. I guess he was on Days of Our Lives. He had like 52 episodes on there. Shout out to him for that. But well known is a stretch. Okay, very much a stretch. But anyways, they're talking about how like she's like, "Oh, Giselle's asking like whose decision is it that you guys aren't having sex and this and that?" And Stacy's like, "Oh, we don't want to have sex and it's a decision that we made." And everybody's like her, Wendy and Giselle are cracking up over it because they're just so shocked. They're like, a man in his 40s that doesn't want to have sex? It seems kind of strange. I agree. It does seem strange. But I don't know why Stacy was trying to act like, oh, this is a mutual decision we made. Because when they talking about it, Stacy then further admits that, like, it was his decision because he's a devout Christian. And it's like, girl, so why are you trying to say we made the decision? No, he made the decision and you're going along with it because you don't mind or whatever. And that's fine. But don't act like this was a joint decision. And, Giselle is laughing and laughing. And in her little confessional, Stacy's like, she can laugh as much as she wants to alone. Stacy, girl, who knew you had it in you? Because all the shade up until that point has been very much like, maybe she was trying to be shady, maybe not. She's playing a little innocent, a little coy. But this shade, that was a dagger. That was a direct shot to Giselle not having a man, and you know it. But she's not wrong because Giselle, you laughing real hard. You were supposed to have been dating a pastor who should have probably had the same rules, despite not having them and having a bunch of illegitimate children. Uh, I'm just saying. Um, but yeah, Giselle was laughing a little too hard. And I'm like, girl, you probably would have been better off. But I've noticed that no one's talking about her boyfriend that she had, the boyfriend that she didn't care where he was going and he doing his own thing. And when she's in New York, then they're together and whoop de whoop. I don't even remember that man's name from Winter House or Summer House or whatever show. No one's mentioning him. I'm like, y'all don't be holding people's feet to the fire the way I wish that they did. Sorry, y'all. I wish somebody would have been like, Giselle, you laughing. What happened to your man that's in New York? But I guess because everybody's in a peaceful place, they didn't bring it up. But I would have asked. Um, they get to the joint chiropractic place, and it's so weird because these women walk in, and the people who are there look confused. like I'm sure they were prepped because I hope they didn't walk in there with like 8 cameras and whatever and all those women. But they look confused. Then they take them to the back where someone's getting an adjustment and they're all just standing around. I thought it's funny because when I saw them get dressed to go, I was like, okay, doesn't look like anybody's getting any adjustments or massages. But it got really weird when they got there and they really didn't get any adjustments or massages and they were just standing around. And I'm like, Mia, she's like, I used to own this place, but I sold it. I still own 22 other ones that I need to sell. Excuse me. And I'm just like, why do you need to sell when you never own? Like, how did she own it and not Gordon? Right? Like, I'm just saying that math. And the thing is, everybody there looks confused. And no one is like, girl, you're lying. That's actually what I want them to say. Like, you're lying. Show us your name on the deeds or on the ownership or on anything. Because what are you talking about? You walked in there and those people look like they ain't never seen you before. Talking about North Carolina made me. I bought the joint chiropractic. Like, girl, you sound crazy as hell. Like, insane. But, you know, Yeah, it was just really weird. And if I spent my birthday going to a business that my friend used to own, even if they did, even though I don't think she did, I would be pissed, girl. Why are we here? Unless I'm here getting bottles, turning up, having a good time, or getting a massage, right? Like something. They just walked in there and stood around. And then finally it got very awkward. And they said, okay, let's go to lunch. Like, I don't even know why they were there. That was probably one of the I don't know if production did that to embarrass her or Mia really wanted to do that, but that was silly. Um, then they go to lunch and they order shots, and Karen's like, "Oh, I'm drinking coffee, no shot for me." Um, Jizzy decides to be messy because she missed out and brings up a lot of the issues from earlier. And she says she thinks like Ashley was just, no, Kay says that she thinks Ashley was just trying to piggyback off of Mia. And then, that obviously stirs up some feelings and they start going back and forth again. And Kay says that she thinks that Mia was a prostitute. And honestly, I don't think she's too far off. She says she was in that place with the long ball gown on serving steak and lobster. Then she admitted to being a stripper. And I think she's just going to keep admitting and admitting until she finally admits she was selling coochie too. I think we're going to get there. Eventually, she'll admit that. Or maybe she won't. Maybe she'll have enough shame to keep that one in the chamber and keep that secret. But initially, she was just selling steak and lobster and walked around. Then she admitted that she did do a little dancing. So I think we're getting there. Mia's gonna admit it eventually. And then Jacqueline's talking. She's talking about how she's been in the gym and she lost 15 pounds. And she was like, "Oh, I lost 15 pounds, like working out and this and that." And then Mia's like, "Yeah, she keeps working out, but I just go and get lipo." And I was like, "That's why you look the way you do." Mia is slim. Her body is not tea to me though. I don't know. Maybe y'all think so. I think she's a little boxy. I don't know. I don't know if that's lipo's fault, right? Like some people have a shape. You can't really change that. Her body is cool. Her body is cool. I mean, Jacqueline's body definitely seems more natural. 100% seems very natural. I'm sure maybe, not that natural, but definitely you could tell she has like a little bit of a belly, not like she's fat or anything or big at all, but it's just like you can tell that is a body that she's working out in the gym, you know. Um, then the ladies are now back. They're getting ready for dinner and what have you. Jazzy called her man. No one could hear that man talking. I was like, girl. She asking him about his son who had a birthday, or I don't know. That man. I mean, he said he loved her. We did hear that. I don't know. Ever since Jassy was talking about that man and that story, she shouldn't feel comfortable on vacation while he's out. I know that's so bad to say, but he's like one. Like every time Robin left and they were on a trip, it's like, are you sure you want to hit the road while your man's at home? That's how I feel Jazzy should feel. Like the way Robin should have never felt comfortable leaving her house, that's how Jazzy should feel. She should be at home with that man as much as she can be. Because when he's traveling for sports, he might not be available. um, Jizzy and Ashley meet to chat. Giselle's talking about how the girls are a lot. And Ashley's talking about how she's trying to get back into music because she made that song. Oh, God, I can't even remember the name of the song, but it was not good. She played it for Giselle. And if I, it was very reminiscent of when, what's her name, played her song for Nene on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she looked disgusted the entire time, and then told her it's good. That like it was literally the same thing. Like Giselle looked like it was trash. She looked disgusted, but she only gave positive feedback, and I guess you have to have friends who are just gonna support you through whatever. Like, if that's what you want, like, Ashley, singing is not your thing. Music is not your thing. Like, you need to just take care of them kids and figure out a way to sue your ex-husband so he pays you more. That every waking moment, that's what you should be thinking about. How can I sue this man to get money from him? Calling all the best lawyers, trying to figure out how you can get $1 from him or squeeze some dollars out of him. Don't worry about singing. Don't worry about them TikTok. I mean, TikToks is paying, so you could do that, but singing is not going to pay you. You are not good at that at all. And I feel like she's trying to get back to that because Candace is gone, and it's a no. She needs to let that go. Then they're getting ready for dinner, and I guess Wendy wanted everybody in red, but she came out in white. She looked good too. Um, and Wendy, and I mean Karen comes out in this little bandage dress. First of all, the dress was very 2015. Cute, but very 2015. And I was like, I I was quite shocked because I was like, I don't think I've ever seen Karen wear something. And she looked uncomfortable in the dress. Not saying it didn't fit her, not saying her body wasn't looking T in the dress, but she actually looked uncomfortable in the dress, like it wasn't her style. Luckily, we see on Instagram after the episode that she borrowed the dress, I think, from Jazzy. And I'm like, yeah, because that didn't look like your style. But, anyways, they get on the bus, they decide to play Fuck Mary Kill. And Jacqueline makes a little joke that she would Ashley because she's already effed Mia because everybody else said that they would F Mia, whatever. And except for, I think, Wendy said Giselle, I think. But yeah, so everybody pretty much said they would F Mia, whatever. And Jacqueline's like, oh, I'd F Ashley because I've already effed Mia. Girl, we knew. The way you act about Mia and over Mia, it's very obvious that you guys have already done stuff like that, despite saying that you're just friends. And then Mia's like, oh, the girl can't keep her mouth shut. Girl, you wanted her to say that. I don't know. Something about Mia is just so to me now. I'm just like, girl, I need you to reel it in. I need her to reel it in. I think that's the thing. Like, I really like Mia, but I need her to reel it in. I need her to take us a step back and not be so weird. And it's funny because then Mia is like, oh, I would do all of you guys. And, you know, Jacqueline starts getting weirdly upset, like, well, I'm the queen bee and this and that. And Giselle immediately calls it out. Giselle is like, I don't know what the deal is. Mia can say, hey, I've done this with every guy in the world and I'm doing this with all these men and whatever, whatever. But if Mia even jokes about another woman, Jacqueline gets really upset and she takes it really personal. And I'm like, that's really true because I saw someone say on Twitter, I can't even remember who. I wish I could put the tweet up in the corner, but they said, like, Mia really won. She got her husband, her boyfriend, and her girlfriend all on the show. And that is so real. That's how it feels because the way Jacqueline acts, she doesn't act like just like a friend. She acts like she's her girlfriend. It's like, okay, well, you can have as many men as you want, but I'm your only girlfriend. And unfortunately, Mia isn't a one type of woman person or whatever. So she keeps pissing Jacqueline off. Um, but yeah, anyways, they make it back home. No, they're at the dinner table. And Wendy talks about how she was very unsure in herself and she's coming into her 40s and she's getting to be more sure of herself and proud of her accomplishments and the things that she's done. And the other lady speaks so positively on to Wendy and what they admire about her and what they like about her and what have you. And honestly, the moment was so important, I think, because I think sometimes as women, despite accomplishing so much, we are still doubting our worth, our likability, our, because she's like, I just never felt anybody would want to celebrate me or this and that. And I feel like that is such a feeling that women have. Like, oh, what if people don't want to celebrate me? What if they don't like me? What if this? What if that? Like, Wendy, you have friends, you have support, you're accomplished, you're this, you're that. And it's like to still have those feelings despite looking at all of the accomplishments that you've made. I think it was such a beautiful thing for her to share. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever felt that out there, but I think we all have just a moment of like, what if I'm not enough? You know? So her having that feeling of realizing that she is enough. And yeah, it took till 40, but 40 is still young. She's had 3 kids, she's had this, she's had that, but it's like, you know, I think that moment in this episode probably hit me the hardest because I don't know if anybody has really been that authentic on this show with, the pressures of life and how it affects you and how you look at things and not thinking you deserve to be celebrated. Like that, like I said, it was a huge moment for me. Jacqueline also tried to make a little speech about Wendy, but then she made it about herself and it became really awkward and like, okay, that's done. But then Stacy brings up the fact that she's like, oh, there's been such a focus on me and my man, and there hasn't really been such a focus on Jazzy and her man. And so this is when Jazzy tries to tell her story about her life. And I know I talked about it earlier, but she tries to tell her story about her life and her man and, the situation. And, you know, everybody sitting there just, you know, confused and like, girl, this don't make no sense. And like I said, Kay brought up her story and Mia shut it down. Like I said, I know I talked about it earlier, but yeah. So it was just like, but one thing Kay said was true. She's like, when you deal with a professional man, and some of them said any man because it's true. Giselle had a pastor, right? Like, once you're dealing with men, you're liable to get a lot of crazy things. So, but it's true, especially with athletes, people are, you know, there and want to be with them and whatever. So you do have to decide, is that something you want to deal with? And it seems like Jazzy has agreed. She's engaged, supposedly. They keep calling him her boyfriend, but I think she said they were engaged. I don't know where they are. But Jazzy, it looks like she decided that's not a deal breaker for her. And she loves her man, even though she's 3 years older than him. She wants to be with him. She wants to work it out. Do you, boo? That's all I that's all I can say. Do you, boo? um After that, Stacy made a toast to Ashley about being the influence in her life that made her want to be more open about her life and her man and her divorce and whatever, which I thought was really sweet, even though Ashley's messy as shit. Um, but anyways, after that, the ladies head back to their place. They don't go to bed though. They end up drinking and drinking and drinking to the point where the next morning, Wendy woke up with a terrible hangover. It was time to go home, but Wendy was barely holding on. And crazy how getting into your 40s, those hangovers don't be hitting like they used to. You used to be able to get up and go. Now you got to get up and rest because you are exhausted and your body is fighting against you. But yeah, the episode pretty much ends with them leaving Lake Norman and Giselle and Karen left together and then the other ladies left. I think the trip was bad. They should never go to North Carolina again. They should never let Mia run a trip. But I do think we're seeing something in this series, this Potomac series, that I think is good. I think we're getting the right amount of all the things: the shade, the nastiness, the fun, the laughter, the positivity, them coming together as a group. I think the dynamic, the energy that we've been looking for Potomac rather than a split group. Yeah, they're still beefing, but the group is still coming back together at the end, no matter what. And I think that is what Potomac has been missing these past couple seasons. It was like either you're on this side of things or you're on that side of things. And when they come together, it's not positive. It's not fun. It's still people trying to ostracize people, whether they're at the beach or the dinner table or at the club. Or if you say one thing, it's a problem. But I feel like this season, even through the little back and forth beefs, they still are coming together and hanging out and everybody's good, it seems. It seems. Like I said, Karen still got to go to court. So many things still need to happen in this season. So who knows if that energy is going to remain or what's going to happen. But tell me what you guys are thinking. Tell me what you're seeing. Tell me what you guys know. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.